Our story begins in the kingdom of Seldam, at the grand estate of the Welton household. Inside, a person is seen rolling over in their luxurious canopy bed. A young boy with mint green hair and placid eyes lets out a sigh as he wakes up. He gracefully swings himself out of bed and plops his feet into a pair of waiting slippers. It was that dream again, he thinks to himself. This is Jamie Welton. He is the firstborn son and heir to the Earl of Seldam, living a life of nobility. The dream is a memory from his past life where he was a supreme dark mage who was defeated in a catastrophic battle and fell from the sky amid blood and lightning. His enemies, the gods themselves, declared that they would seal him away. But even as a powerful magic circle enveloped him, the dark mage could only laugh. He scorned the 12 gods who were forced to unite to confront him and could only seal him despite their combined power. He laughed madly across the heavens and openly provoked the gods to seal him, a challenge they accepted without hesitation. In his final moment of freedom, he delivered a chilling prophecy about his inevitable awakening. He foretold that when he awakens, the divine radiance surrounding their existence would disappear. He warned that they would be consumed by despair so profound that they would eventually long for death. The gods recognized his name, Diablo Valper, and his threat, but declared that for now he remained sealed. He would be imprisoned in pain for all eternity. Back in the present, Jamie understands the dream and realizes he was Diablo Valper who was sealed away by the 12 gods. Somehow, he found his way out through a dimensional rift and was reborn into this new family. A new life began with a joyous cry. Look! Our Jamie opened his eyes. His new parents doted on him, praising his beauty, unaware of the ancient dark mage within. For the great Diablo Valper, this was a waking nightmare. Trapped in the body of an infant, he couldn't even speak his own name, and so 9 years have passed. He has lived as Jamie, the young noble son, smothered by the love of his doting parents. In the present day, a maid scurries down the sunlit hall of the Welton estate. Jamie walks silently down the hallway, beginning another mundane day. He sighs, the deep boredom of a 66,666-year-old dark mage trapped in a 9-year-old boy's body evident on his face. He gazes out the window, dreading the day, sensing it will be tiresome once more. Just then, his elderly nanny, who has served the family for years, calls out to him with a beaming smile. Jamie quickly masks his thoughts with a bright smile and greets the nanny. The nanny asks why he's up so early. Playing his part perfectly, Jamie replies, I was gazing upon the beautiful morning skies. She praises his sweetness while Jamie internally cringes, questioning his supposed sentimentality. The nanny remarks on the skies and reminds him to dress as the master and lady await, and he agrees cheerfully. Now fully dressed in his formal attire, Jamie follows his nanny down the long corridor. As they approach the dining hall, the nanny proudly announces his arrival. Jamie stands patiently, the picture of a perfect young nobleman beside his doting nanny. Beneath his calm exterior he sighs, bracing for another day of the family charade. He enters the dining room to warm greetings from his mother, father, and younger sister. Putting on his most joyful expression, he thanks his mother, the performance now in full swing. The family is gathered around a lavish breakfast table, the picture of domestic bliss. His mother gushes over how adorable her 2 children are as Jamie and his sister eat their meal. This is his mother, Sears Bell Welton. She proudly declares that the children must have inherited their cute looks from her. And this is his biological father, a man of great renown and one of only 5 swordmasters in the entire kingdom. Earl Argino Welton humbly deflects praise, crediting his wife for the children's angelic features. Jamie sees his father not as a distinguished man but as a loving family figure, groaning internally at the public affection. And this is his younger sister, Sarah Welton, who enthusiastically offers to feed her big brother. Trapped, Jamie has no choice but to swallow the piece of food she holds out for him. He continues the act, thanking Sarah and patting her on the head like a good older brother. He completes his act by feeding Sarah her favorite food, delighting his parents and feeling grimly satisfied. Beneath the surface, the constant acting drains him, and he longs to be alone. He escapes to his room and collapses onto his bed, sighing in exhaustion. He buries his face in the pillow, unable to endure his family's constant affection. He feels relief that he is older now, having dreaded speaking and acting childishly before. Sighing, he rolls over, admitting he likes the household and its library for research. A small one-eyed bat-like creature appears on his head, reminding Jamie of how weak his current powers are. Well, it could be worse, he thinks, plucking the peeping creature from his hair. He views this reincarnation as a second chance and clenches his fist as dark energy stirs, vowing revenge against the 12 gods who still exist. A sinister smile forms as dark energy leaks from his hand, and he resolves to punish the gods for feeding parasitically on their followers. He is aware his power is still weak, but with dark magic forgotten in this era, he knows time favors him, and a thread of pure darkness forms in his hand as confidence fills his face. He warns the 12 gods to remain on their thrones, declaring he will come for them once he regains his full power. As his vengeance peaks, his nanny announces story time with the lady. The dark aura fades and Jamie stands silently as his nanny calls him with concern. The innocent child mask returns as he smiles brightly and agrees to go, cursing his fate inwardly. As they walk, he thinks he would rather be sealed away again than act cute and innocent. He enters the drawing room where his mother and sister greet him with affection. He dutifully makes his way over to join them on the couch. He smiles brightly and snuggles to his mother, asking what story she will read. His cuteness overwhelms his mother and sister, leaving them momentarily stunned. They quickly recover, smothering him in hugs and showering him with praise for being so adorable. Jamie can only groan internally. His mother presents the book, The Story of Heinz the Great Mage. Confident Jamie will enjoy it. Jamie prepares to listen, anticipating the story his mother will read. The story ends with Heinz living happily ever after, and Jamie taps the book thoughtfully. His mother closes the book and asks gently if he liked the story. Jamie smiles brightly and declares he wants to be a great mage like Heinz, delighting his mother. She laughs, noting he has defeated 3 mage teachers, while Jamie wonders if she is sarcastic, and Sarah has fallen asleep beside them. She gently pats his head, adding that his father has promised to find the greatest mage in the kingdom to be his teacher. Jamie realizes she was sincere and laughs bashfully, saying Heinz didn't have to and father is too kind. He rises to leave and cheerfully confirms he is going to the library. She encourages him to read and play, then opens her arms for a hug. Jamie panics internally. He almost got away. Before she can react, he lunges forward, pulling her into an inescapable embrace. She hugs him tightly, cooing and asking him to forget the library and play, while Jamie suffers inwardly. His mind screams in agony, begging for it to stop. Jamie finally escapes to his sanctuary, the Grand Family Library. At last in peace, he sits in the sunlit library and sighs contentedly as he reads. His study bears fruit as he taps a pentagram-marked tome of forbidden dark magic, the first step to regaining his former glory. In the Grand Library, Jamie Welton sighs, disappointed that the book lacks new mana-breathing techniques. Annoyed by mealtime, Jamie sighs and heads to the dining hall before his nanny finds him. Jamie stops in the white hallway as an old man in white and gold robes appears before him. The old man admires the estate, noting the luxurious artifact at the dining area entrance. Jamie is taken aback, his eyes widening in surprise. He has no idea who this man is or how he got into the mansion. The stranger greets Jamie, whose senses detect immense mana radiating from the old man's entire body. Jamie glares and deduces the man is at least a rank 7 mage. Wondering how he arrived, did he teleport? His suspicion grows as he clenches his fist, questioning if the poised man could be an intruder. Marquis Rinmel squints, his glowing blue eyes staring intently as he studies the young boy before him. Breaking the silence, Jamie demands to know who the old man is. He demands to know how the man entered, asserting the property is private while summoning a small flame as a warning. The old mage is amused, calling Jamie a lion cub yet still a lion, finding his display of power interesting. Jamie seethes internally, frustrated that, with half his original power, he could defeat the calm intruder who is quietly assessing him. His frustration erupts and he gathers his power, determined to teach the insolent old man a lesson. A lesson on what happens when you let your guard down. The stranger remains unfazed, intrigued that a 9-year-old possesses such immense mana, surpassing his expectations. The old mage accepts the challenge, unleashing red lightning to provoke Jamie into revealing his strength. Enraged, Jamie glows blue, screaming at the audacious man and preparing to unleash his true power. Purple magic circles erupt as Jamie abandons his childish facade, roaring that he is Diablo Vulper, once feared by the gods. Jamie Welton fires a bolt of dark magic, which Marquis Rinmel effortlessly counters. The two magical forces collide with a deafening explosion. As the smoke clears, Jamie clicks his tongue, annoyed that his attack barely affected the old mage. Still, he's shocked to see that his powerful spell didn't leave a single scratch on his opponent. Marquis Rinmal, however, is thoroughly impressed, a wide grin spreading across his face. He can't believe it. A 9-year-old boy casting a spell with such power is unheard of. As the smoke clears, Jamie clicks his tongue, annoyed that his attack barely affected the old mage. Jamie watches, a smirk on his face. He has to admit the old man is good. A massive pillar of fire erupts, crackling with immense energy as it hurtles towards Jamie. Jamie's eyes remain calm as he realizes from past life experience that the spell holds no killing intent. He realizes Rinmal is just testing him, so there's no need to play along and react. The Marquis's eye widens in shock. He can't believe it. The boy didn't even blink in the face of such a display of power. The fiery blast narrowly misses Jamie, crashing into the wall behind him. Just then, a new figure rushes into the room. It's Jamie's father, Earl Welton. "Okay, that's enough," he commands, stepping in to stop the confrontation. The Earl rushes to Jamie, asking if he is all right, as Jamie seizes the moment to act. With teary eyes, he whimpers that he's fine, putting on the perfect facade of a terrified child. Seeing Jamie's fake tears, the Earl is filled with protective fury, believing his baby is terrified. The Earl confronts the old mage while Jamie smirks, a trickster's glint that Marquis Rinmal notices. Marquis Rinmal laughs heartily, finding Jamie's cunning exhilarating. Rinmal exclaims his envy of the Earl, leaving him confused. The Earl is baffled, unable to comprehend why the man attacked his child and now boasts envy. Later, Marquis Rinmal and Earl Welton sit down for tea to discuss the matter. Still angry, the Earl reminds Rinmal that the boy he attacked is his son, heir to the Welton household. Rinmal remains unfazed, sipping tea and calmly replying that he knows. The Earl's anger flares, prompting Rinmal to tell him to calm down, furious that he attacked Jamie despite knowing who he was. Rinmal shifts the topic, asking the Earl how much he knows about his son. Rinmal clarifies his question, asking how much the Earl knows about what a prodigy his son truly is. The Earl sighs, frustrated that he sought Rinmal's help only for him to attack Jamie, while Rinmal notes his simmering resentment. Rinmal bluntly says the Earl knows little about his son and formally declines to take Jamie as his pupil, leaving the Earl stunned. The narrative highlights Rinmal's status as a rank 8 great mage, the most powerful in the world. The Earl's heart sinks. The most powerful mage in the world just refused to teach his son. The narrative highlights Rinmal's status as a rank 8 great mage, the most powerful in the world. His expression turns serious, worrying if Jamie is not as gifted as he thought. The Marquis explains he refuses to take Jamie as his pupil because he cannot handle him. Rinmal begins his explanation, revealing that Jamie saw straight through the spell he had cast. The Earl can only respond with a stunned, "What?" He is stunned, knowing Jamie is bright, but seeing him see through a great mage's spell impresses Rinmal, who notes Jamie's confidence in its harmlessness. Rinmal recalls being shocked as Jamie stared fearlessly at the incoming spell. Rinmal reveals with delight that Jamie is already a rank 3 mage unaided, and would be at least rank 4 if not for his body's limits. Rinmal declares Jamie a phenomenon, more than a prodigy, needing no teacher. His only advice to the Earl is to support his son in any way he can. Rinmal predicts Jamie will become a full mage independently, potentially reaching the legendary rank 9. The Earl is left speechless, clenching his fist as he tries to process the magnitude of this revelation. He swallows hard, realizing his son could become a legendary rank 9 mage. Rinmal rises, formally apologizing for attacking Jamie after delivering the shocking news. He departs with a cryptic laugh, warning that the magical society and the world will soon be affected by what is to come. As Rinmal vanishes in light, the Earl's shock turns to grim determination, a small smile forming as he thinks this will be fun. Alone, the Earl stares at the empty space, contemplating the incredible destiny awaiting his son and family. Later that night, at the Welton estate, a weary sigh escapes from Jamie. Back in the privacy of his room, Jamie reflects on how hectic the day has been. The chaos stemmed from his mother Sears Bell Welton, who learned what the old man had done to him. He recalls his mother tearfully hugging him, vowing to teach Rinmal a lesson for frightening her baby. The ordeal was exhausting. She had held onto him for a couple of hours at least. But as he sits in his room, tapping his brooch, his thoughts drift back to the confrontation. A smile forms as he admits he has not seen such powerful magic in a long time. He acknowledges the old Marquis was truly skilled, worthy of standing even in the mythical era he came from. He dismisses thoughts of the Marquis and turns his attention to his father, Earl Argino Welton, a swordsman of immense power. Jamie feels satisfied, impressed that his father nullified a rank 8 mage's spell, which he deems fitting for the father of someone like himself. His thoughts are interrupted when a voice asks why he looks so pleased, and to his shock Marquis Rinmel is sitting on his bed. The unexpected intrusion sends goosebumps down Jamie's spine. Rinmel teases Jamie for being so lost in thought that he failed to notice his presence. Jamie yelps in shock, shouting as his composure completely collapses. The surprise is so great that he tumbles backward right off his chair. Rinmel cackles with laughter. "You are a child after all, freaking out like that," he taunts. Scrambling on the floor, a flustered Jamie demands to know how the Marquis got into his room. Rinmel gives a blunt and simple answer. "I teleported my way in." Jamie regains composure, assuming his father spared the man, while privately acknowledging his impressive teleportation. Rinmel giggles, teasing Jamie for acting like a child before his father but not before him. Annoyed, Jamie insists strangers and family are different, while Rinmel laughs, calling him intriguing. Rinmel's tone shifts, remarking that it's a shame he lacks more power. He glances down at Jamie, who looks up, wondering what the old mage is talking about. Jamie feels disgusted by Rinmel's intense stare, questioning why he looks at him that way. Then, Rinmel offers him a gift, materializing a beautifully ornate book of magic in his hand. Jamie cautiously takes the book, asking why the Marquis is suddenly giving him a gift. Rinmel explains Jamie's mana technique was outdated and offers to teach him a modern one, leaving Jamie stunned. Jamie trembles with fury at being called outdated, while Rinmel misinterprets it as gratitude. Rinmel reveals the book holds a mana technique he created, and Jamie is the first to receive it. Despite indignation, Jamie is curious about the rank 8 mage's technique, silently vowing revenge for the insult. As Rinmel prepares to depart, he turns to Jamie one last time. Rinmel tells Jamie he has high expectations for him. Rinmel teleports away, leaving Jamie with the thought of how much he will have grown by their next meeting. Clutching the book, Jamie's confidence returns as he grins, declaring that Rinmel will be surprised. Jamie opens the book to study mana breathing, learning to absorb mana through oral breathing and gather it in the heart, the most efficient method. The book notes a major flaw. The technique limits the total mana a person can absorb. Jamie continues reading, expecting much since Rinmel claimed existing techniques are obsolete. As he reads, Jamie's skepticism turns to amazed exhaustion, confirming the knowledge is groundbreaking. In his room, Jamie studies Rinmel's book, realizing the new mana technique is extremely difficult, requiring him to sense each mana particle. He learns the technique breaks mana into tiny particles absorbable through the skin, an almost impossible feat. Jamie flops onto his bed, overwhelmed. Such a technique would require an incredible level of precise control over mana. Lying down, Jamie analyzes further, realizing few mages could master this and that replacing the established technique is nearly impossible given its flaws. Despite the difficulties, Jamie's confidence surges, a sinister grin forming as Diablo Valper asserts himself, knowing it's possible for him. With renewed resolve, Jamie rises, determined to conquer the challenge. His serious demeanor melts into a joyful smile as he thanks Rinmel for the incredible gift. He flops onto the bed, eagerly flipping through the book, vowing to absorb every bit of knowledge. But to begin, he needs assistance. Jamie snaps his fingers, calling upon a helper with a surge of dark energy. A small purple-winged creature with one large eye appears. Black, Jamie's familiar, lets out a tiny peep. The little creature obediently flies over and settles on Jamie's shoulder as he continues to read. Jamie smiles at his familiar and commands it to start breaking down the mana. Black responds with a mischievous grin before its eye glows with power, signifying it is ready to begin its task. As Black swooshes through the air, filling it with mana particles, Jamie explains his plan. The first obstacle of the new technique is breaking down mana to be absorbed through the skin. He smirks, thinking about how this would normally require one to practice in a very specific place and form. But that's a limitation for ordinary people. He, however, has his trusty familiar, Black, with him. Jamie begins his training, using Black to bypass the first hurdle by breaking down the mana through their spiritual contract. With Black handling the first obstacle, the second, limited mana storage in his child's heart, is no problem. He bypasses his heart's mana limit by storing energy throughout his body. With all obstacles cleared, he is confident that nothing can stop him in this new life. The morning sun shines on the Welton estate as Earl Argino Welton and housekeeper Lillian walk the corridor, their chatter echoing softly. Lillian turns to the Earl worriedly, fidgeting, while he gazes seriously and contemplatively. They peer into a room, watching the small figure inside as Lillian murmurs about the young master. Inside, Jamie meditates on his bed, surrounded by a powerful swirl of glowing blue and white mana. Earl Argino gulps in disbelief, unable to comprehend how Jamie accumulated so much mana overnight despite Rinmal's gift. Pride washes over the Earl as he imagines young Jamie, marveling at his potential. Earl Argino tells Lillian to leave Jamie alone for the day but keep staff ready in case he goes outside. Lillian nods, assuring him she will be there. As the Earl walks away, Lillian watches worriedly, while he reflects that Jamie's mage talent likely comes from his mother's side. He walks down the sunlit hallway, convinced his son's talent is beyond imagination. A satisfied smile forms as Earl Argino notes Jamie is already rank 9. Thinking as expected of my son. The scene shifts to a view of the Welton mansion standing proudly under the bright sky. Back in the room, Jamie continues his intense meditation, his face calm and focused amidst the shimmering particles of mana. Suddenly, his eyes flash open, revealing a sharp, determined gaze as the ambient mana shines brightly. Jamie throws his fist in the air triumphantly, exclaiming he has achieved a breakthrough in his training. Jamie reflects that breaking down mana while moving was difficult at first, but now he handles it effortlessly, floating among stars as a testament to his growing mastery. He acknowledges his limit at rank 4 mana, sighing in frustration that he is just one step from rank 5. A small dark creature with a yellow beak and tiny wings appears on his head, peeping. Jamie is surprised, having no intention of modifying his young and weak body. The creature rolls playfully on his head, letting out another peep. Jamie smiles brightly, rubbing the creature's head and saying he is not in a rush, knowing his enemies are not going anywhere. He thinks confidently that doing it again will be no problem. Jamie points and commands his familiar, Black, to turn invisible. Black vanishes with a questioning sound. Jamie smiles and instructs him to hide his mana, planning to go see his father. Pleased with Black's invisibility, Jamie beams, proud that he can barely sense him, and prepares to leave his room confident his secret is safe. Jamie laughs, taking a cute appearance and praising Black's obedience. Confident his father knows nothing of the secret familiar. Confident his secret is safe, Jamie decides to see his father, thinking it is time to go. Jamie walks down the hallway with his invisible familiar Black flapping beside him, unseen by anyone. In a lavish drawing room, a priest of the Zenith faith respectfully greets Earl Argino, acknowledging his busy schedule. The priest explains that there was no established religion in the Heiss estate and thanks Earl Argino for allowing the Zenith faith. Earl Argino responds calmly that he accepted the faith to help the people of his estate. The priest twitches nervously, sweating as he stammers, puzzled by the Earl's pointed response. The Earl smiles sharply, issuing a veiled threat that the Zenith faith in his estate will be the best, and the priest immediately understands. Leaning forward, the Earl warns the priest not to claim his people, and the priest groans internally, realizing the rumors of the Earl's toughness were true. Leaning back, Earl Argino dismisses the priest, who forces a laugh and thanks him. The priest bows, blessing him with Zenith's protection, and Earl Argino smiles, wishing him safety on his journeys. As soon as the priest has turned to leave, the Earl's smile vanishes in an instant. His expression becomes completely cold and unreadable, his earlier warmth disappearing entirely. From down the hall, Jamie watches silently as the cloaked priest walks away from his father's drawing room. Jamie's eyes widen and he grits his teeth, sweat forming as dawning fury fills him. Jamie fixates on the crescent moon on the priest's cloak, sensing the despised vicarious powers, trembling with rage and screaming in his mind at Zenith for entering his land. Jamie fixates on the crescent moon on the priest's cloak, sensing the despised vicarious powers, trembling with rage and screaming in his mind at Zenith for entering his land. He growls in frustration, questioning why his father is establishing a faith in the estate, especially Zenith. He reasons that a faith established under the permission of the Earl can just as easily be forced to leave if the Earl decides against it. Jamie decides to confront the Zenith Church by first seeing his father and starting his investigation that night, announcing his presence as he approaches. The scene shifts to the Welton drawing room, where Jamie and his father sit opposite each other in tense silence. The Count asks if Jamie finished his task, and Jamie brightly confirms that he has. The Count observes his son, remarking that he must be really into magic. Jamie, keeping up his cheerful facade, agrees, but beneath the calm exterior, the Count is in deep thought. Sensing his father's hesitation, Jamie innocently asks why, feigning curiosity with a sweet smile. His father worries Jamie would have a simple life away from magic, and Jamie feigns confusion as he asks for clarification while his father prepares to explain. Count Welton narrows his eyes with concern as he speaks about the harsh realities Jamie might face. He tells Jamie that the life of a genius is not always wonderful, hinting at the challenges ahead. The Count predicts that as Jamie's talent grows, he will receive praise from everyone around him. He warns that such adoration is fickle, and a single stumble can change everything. In his mind, the Count envisions Jamie surrounded by dark figures representing insults and blame, silently questioning if his son can endure the pressure. His hands clench tightly, a physical manifestation of his deep-seated worry for his son's future. Despite his fears, the Count offers Jamie an out, telling him he can stop studying magic anytime. Yet, he also promises his unwavering support as long as Jamie's passion remains. Jamie, with a reassuring and genuine smile, tells his father not to worry. He declares with absolute certainty that he will never quit. The Count bursts into laughter, proud of his son's resolute spirit. However, a shocking realization dawns upon him as he questions if the level of mana he's sensing can truly be harnessed by a mere 9-year-old. As if to confirm his father's thoughts, Jamie is shown sitting in a void, his body glowing with a powerful blue aura of mana. The Count flinches, sensing something more. He realizes with astonishment that Jamie isn't just using mana. He's continuously absorbing more, adding to the immense magical energy already stored in his entire body. He gulps, his mind reeling from the impossibility. He had always believed that mages could only store mana in their hearts, nowhere else. Nervously, the Count asks if Jamie mastered Rinmel's magic book, and Jamie grins, confirming he mastered it and improved its flaws. The Count is speechless, cold sweat forming as he inwardly fears what kind of monster Rinmel has unleashed. He is left in shock, struggling to comprehend how much more powerful his son became in one night. The Count's mind races, awed and fearful, imagining Jamie surrounded by a golden aura and wondering if he has the once-in-a-millennium talent to reach rank 9. The Count laughs, thinking that compared to his son's immense potential, he has no talent at all. Jamie, thoroughly confused by his father's sudden outburst of laughter and odd comments, asks him what's going on. The Count beams with affection, reassuring Jamie that he is overjoyed and proud of him. Still chuckling to himself, the Count rises from his seat, filled with fatherly pride. He approaches Jamie and affectionately pats his head, much to Jamie's feigned delight. Internally, Diablo is annoyed, thinking his father could stop the condescending pats. The Count surprises Jamie by pointing above his head and asking if he summoned the creature there. Jamie is shocked, stammering as he asks if his father can see it, while Black flits nervously, surprised to be discovered. Jamie panics, realizing Black was invisible and wondering how his father can still sense it. The Count describes the creature's round shape, making Jamie question his father's perceptiveness. Thinking quickly, Jamie invents a story, confessing he created the bat-like creature with dark magic, but didn't tell his father to avoid shocking him. To Jamie's surprise, his father isn't angry. He hugs him tightly, delighting that Jamie created it and admitting he was shocked. His father is happily shocked by Jamie's talent, praising him as a genius and proud to be his father. After the conversation ends, Jamie silently leaves his father's room, completely drained. He sighs, thinking it is just too much, overwhelmed by the Welton household's love. Later that night, under the cover of darkness, the Welton estate is quiet, with only the guards making their rounds. Inside, hooded and cloaked, Jamie prepares for his mission, eyes glowing blue as he calls for Black. In a burst of dark energy, Black appears, transforming into a formidable winged creature of shadow and magic, ready to serve its master. With determination in his glowing eyes, Jamie vows to uncover the purpose of the Zenith Church in his land. He gives the command, "Let's go!" With his powerful familiar, Black, leading the way, Jamie takes to the skies, flying over the estate to begin his investigation. Meanwhile, in a dimly lit alley in the city, two men are having a heated discussion. One asks the other what their boss said. Philip, a purple-haired sub-executive of Rabal, sighs in frustration as he delivers the boss's ultimatum to complete the job or die. Yance, a scarred muscular man, slams his fist in anger, complaining that the boss profits at the organization's expense. Yance shouts that while petty crimes might be tolerated, human trafficking crosses the line completely. Philip sighs defeatedly, suggesting they might get away with it if lucky. Yance scoffs at the idea, retorting that while they might get away with it this time, they will eventually be caught. Philip sighs defeatedly, suggesting they might get away with it if lucky. Yance imagines a furious Count Welton, sword dripping with blood, ready to annihilate the entire Undercity for such a transgression. Philip tries to find a sliver of hope, suggesting that perhaps their boss is simply confident that he won't get caught. Yance, in disbelief, reveals he heard Hanny's men were assigned to handle the operation. He notes that a ruthless person like Hanny would do it without hesitation, leaving them defeated and unsure whether to run or report him. Yance prefers to run, citing the Undercity's rule of not betraying fellow criminals, and Philip reluctantly agrees. Their despair deepens as they realize the gang would hunt them down regardless. Yance slumps in resignation, deciding it is better to die later than sooner. Philip asks if there's truly no other choice than to die. Yance can only reply with a grim, "We could try." As they lament their fate, one of them curses aloud, wondering which idiot gave their boss the idea of engaging in human trafficking in the first place. From the shadows, Jamie quietly comments that their boss must have been influenced by someone else. He takes a single, deliberate step forward. The sound startles the two criminals, and they whip around, their eyes wide with alarm. Startled and on guard, they demand to know who is there. A chilling voice from the darkness mockingly repeats their question. A sinister smile plays on his lips as he lets out a soft chuckle, his glowing eye promising a grim fate for the two criminals. A blonde thug with bandaged arms clenches his fist in rage, losing patience. The blonde, muscular thug lunges forward, throwing a powerful punch while yelling for Jamie to die. His partner, a man with long purple hair, quickly follows suit, drawing his sword to attack. They both charge at Jamie, but their attacks hit nothing but air. Confused, the two thugs look around, wondering where their target has disappeared to. Suddenly, they hear Jamie's voice mocking them from an unknown direction, causing them both to shudder in fear. He reappears right behind them, remarking that they were discussing something interesting. With a wicked smile, Jamie gathers crackling dark energy in his hand, expressing his desire to hear more. He unleashes the electric magic, instantly shocking both the blonde, muscular thug and the purple-haired thug. After being thoroughly defeated, the two thugs kneel before Jamie and tell him everything they know. Their faces are blank and their eyes are lifeless, showing they are now completely under Jamie's control. Jamie learns of their human trafficking, including children, and sighs, knowing this is the crime his father despises most. He wonders what these criminals could have been thinking to engage in such a dangerous business. Jamie grits his teeth in annoyance, frustrated first by a god meddling in human affairs, and now by humans preying on each other. He questions the leader's intelligence for accepting the proposal, knowing his father's nature, and feels a bad omen. Having made a decision, Jamie orders the two kneeling thugs to rise. Jamie casts a spell on the blonde thug, implanting a command for them to go to the Earl's house and reveal every detail of the trafficking plan. With their eyes glowing under his influence, the two thugs accept the command as a swirling portal manifests behind them. Still disoriented from the mind control, they wobble as they begin to walk away to carry out their orders. Jamie watches them go, anticipating that the events he's set in motion will lead to a tumultuous night. From above, the two mind-controlled thugs walk toward the Earl's household, leaving Jamie behind. With his pawns in motion, Jamie tells Black that their work here is done and it's time to leave. Just as Jamie and his familiar, Black, are about to depart, their exit is abruptly halted. A shadowy force bursts past Jamie, who is stopped in his tracks. Jamie turns around, his expression hardening as he assesses the new disturbance. It's the purple-haired thug he just sent away, now spitting blood as he's violently struck by an unseen assailant. The thug is thrown backward by a burst of dark energy, landing right in front of a surprised Jamie. The two thugs Jamie controlled lie motionless on the ground as the dark energy dissipates. A booming, mocking laugh calls the fallen men idiots as a new group of cloaked figures appears, with a subordinate nervously telling the leader to be quiet. Jamie sighs, annoyed by the unexpected and noisy interruption, wondering where this moron came from. Jamie looks furious that someone dared to harm his underlings. He gathers a ball of bright magical energy, preparing to retaliate against whoever is responsible. Jamie raises his hand, casting a spell to preserve the two thugs for his own purposes. Continuing his interrogation, he channels dark magic into the two thugs, their bodies glowing from the magic used to preserve them. Their operation is interrupted as Hanny, a Rabal sub-executive, arrives and orders his men to capture the two thugs and the robed figure. Hanny looks down on the scene with contempt, sneering that the robed man doesn't seem to value his own life. From within his hood, Jamie quietly laughs, unimpressed and unfazed by Hanny's threats. Hanny's underlings begin dragging the incapacitated thugs away as he shouts that he wants to kill them all over again. The purple-haired thug, tears streaming down his bruised face, weakly begs for them to spare his life. As a man drags the robed figure by the hood, his eyes glow menacing blue, hinting the tables are about to turn. Enraged by the defiance, Hanny screams for the trashy scum to shut up, and it's Jamie with offensive attacks hitting him head-on. He unleashes a barrage of powerful magic, striking his target with overwhelming force while screaming, "Die!" Watching the display of power, Hanny bursts into a fit of maniacal laughter, finding the violent spectacle absolutely wonderful. His sadistic nature on full display, Hanny roars for the screams of death. Hanny gathers his fiery red energy, preparing to launch a powerful spell. Hitting its intended target, the spell obliterates him, leaving nothing but a black scorch mark on the ground. One of Hanny's remaining subordinates looks at him in shock and confusion, asking why he would suddenly attack their comrade, Finn. Hanny, equally shocked and enraged, screams back that he wasn't aiming for Finn, but for the little punk in the black robe. The robed figure suddenly appears beside Hanny and calmly asks, "Are you finished?" Making Hanny shudder in fear. Hanny whirls around, completely stunned. The robed figure continues his taunt, asking if Hanny had his share of fun. With a chilling giggle, the robed figure clarifies his question, mockingly asking if it was fun to kill one of his own underlings. Hanny panics, unable to comprehend how the robed figure survived, and is overwhelmed by the dark, ominous aura emanating from him. The Jamie scoffs at Hanny, mocking his rank 3 power, causing Hanny to instinctively stumble back in fear. Finding a last shred of defiance, Hanny grits his teeth in pure rage, screaming at the little punk. Pushing past fear, Hanny channels all his strength into a final move, unleashing his rank 3 explosion spell, Burst. As the spell builds, Hanny clings to the hope that his rank 3 burst, though weaker than a rank 5 detonation, will incinerate his opponent. The rank 3 spell erupts in a massive, blinding explosion of fire and light, engulfing the area where the robed figure stood. As the smoke clears, a calm, ominous voice tells a horrified Hanny that a human's mental toughness deteriorates rapidly when facing someone far more powerful. The Jamie stands unharmed, grinning sadistically, revealing he enjoys manipulating opponents, treating Hanny like a puppet on dark strings. He admits there is no greater pleasure than toying with the mind of someone weaker than him. Faced with this overwhelming difference in power, Hanny's will shatters, and his legs buckle beneath him. Hanny collapses, his mind and body shattered by the sheer terror of the being he challenged. Hanny collapses, his mind and body shattered by the sheer terror of the being he challenged. Their shock turns to fear, and one whispers a single word, "Run." Jamie watches them flee, noting their misfortune as he casually lifts his hand. One of the fleeing underlings looks back in terror as shadowy tendrils of dark magic close in on him. With a single word, "Erasure," he releases a wave of dark power, and the subordinates scream in agony. After the spell fades, Hanny lies motionless on the floor. The robed figure looks down and says, "Okay, now." Holding the broken man, he declares Hanny his servant. With his will shattered, Hanny obeys completely. "Yes, master." Hanny stares blankly, drool at his mouth, his mind completely wiped, now a loyal, mindless servant.